The Iranian regime is in a freefall. As over 36 people have been killed in clashes with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the unthinkable is becoming inevitable. This isn't another protest that fizzles out after a few days. This is day 10 of a nationwide uprising that spread to 107 cities across Iran. And the regime's forces are being pushed back by unarmed citizens who refuse to stand down. Tehran is at a standstill. Trump is threatening the regime with retaliation. And their exiled crown prince, the son of the very deposed Shah, is promising a triumphant return. And it's all happening right now, right before our very eyes. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you make sense of the madness with breaking news and analysis you're not going to hear anywhere else, so make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We are now officially in day 10 of what's turning out to be the single largest mass uprising against the Islamic regime in their 47-year rule over Iran. While the Mullahs in Tehran scramble to contain the chaos, President Trump just delivered a warning from Air Force One that sent shockwaves through the regime. He's promised that if the regime continues to shoot protesters, they're going to suffer massive retaliation personally from the United States. And obviously, Trump ain't bluffing. What just happened in Venezuela with Maduro's capture, the Iranian people know Trump means business. Now, if you don't know, it all started back on December 28th in Tehran's Grand Bazaar. What's essential to understand here in terms of Iran's social structure is a class known as the Bazaar-E's. So it's bazaar with an I-S in the end. Bazaar-E's. These are the bazaar merchants who have historically been the economic backbone of Iran. And as a result, they're the de facto kingmakers, politically speaking. They allied with the Islamists back in 1979 and shut down all of their businesses to force the toppling of the Shah. The Bazaar-E's aren't just shopkeepers. They represent the traditional merchant class that controls vast networks of trade, capital, and social influence all across Iran. And ground zero of that massive national network is what's known as the Grand Bazaar in Tehran. The Grand Bazaar is Iran's commercial heart, a massive network of shops, wholesalers, and traders who move goods throughout the country. And when they close their shop, it's not just symbolic. It literally paralyzes economic activity and signals that the regime has lost the confidence of the business class that keeps the economy functioning. Now, again, the Bazaar-E's historically supported the Islamic Republic. They were part of the coalition that brought Khomeini and the Mullahs to power back in 1979. They had a mutually beneficial relationship with the clerical establishment. But that all changed on December 28th. To the shock of the Islamic regime, the bazaar merchants walked out on them in the same way they walked out on the Shah 47 years ago, representing a complete breakdown of the regime's traditional power base. Again, what's so different this time around from other protests is that this isn't disaffected students or opposition activists. This is the establishment turning against itself. There was a perfect storm behind this defection among the merchant class. There were simultaneous economic shocks that broke the proverbial camel's back. There were really three of them. First and foremost, we've seen a catastrophic currency collapse. Iran's rial has lost 60% of its value in 6 months. And unfortunately, that's just par for the course for the last several years. So back in 2015, there were 32,000 rials to the dollar. In 2022, there were 430,000 rials to the dollar. Today, it's an astonishing 1,420,000 rials to the dollar. The rial has lost 20,000% of its value since 1979. So for merchants who operate with thin margins and need to import goods or materials, I mean, this made business virtually impossible. They couldn't even set prices because the exchange rate was so volatile. It was changing by the hour. Secondly, the Iranian government announced it was ending the subsidized dollar program that merchants had relied on to import essential goods. And this preferential exchange rate system had allowed businesses to access dollars at much lower rates to keep basic goods affordable. Removing it meant import costs would skyrocket overnight. And then, if that weren't bad enough, the government decided to slap the merchants with new taxes. The new budget involved raising taxes significantly on merchants and business owners all throughout the country. And that was it. They snapped. They snapped because the government was essentially asking them to absorb catastrophic losses while simultaneously raising their taxes and eliminating their access to subsidized imports. They couldn't set prices, they couldn't predict costs, and they were being blamed by angry customers for price increases that they were entirely beyond their control. So just like they did in 1979, the merchant class has gone galt, as we say in Ayn Rand's terms. They've shut down, and they brought the country's economy, which was already in tatters, to a screeching halt. And within 48 hours, the protests absolutely exploded. Students joined, workers joined. By January 1st, entire provinces were paralyzed. The government panicked and declared sudden public holidays in 21 of Iran's 31 provinces, not because of the cold weather that they claim, but to prevent people from organizing. It didn't work. The crowds kept growing, and their chants revealed everything. Death to Khamenei. Death to the dictator. I mean, these aren't people demanding reforms. They're demanding the complete overthrow of the regime. This is a new Iranian revolution happening in real time. But the wildest, craziest development in all of this is yet to come. Wait until you see this. Take a guess at what this is. This is absolutely amazing. I'll give you a hint. The older we get, the less we hold on to heat. So imagine being stranded in a broken down car in the middle of the night and having to walk for help. You know, a simple rainstorm, even in the summer, that can mean hypothermia. And so that is where this little beauty comes in. I'm going to bring it out. I kid you not. This is a full-size, heat-reflective emergency sleeping bag that actually fits into the palm of your hand. I've never seen anything like it. It's absolutely amazing. And you heard it right. I mean, it's an emergency thermal sleeping bag that can keep you warm down to Arctic temperatures. It's waterproof. It's windproof. It's bright orange, as you could see, so you could be spotted in a disaster. And look at this thing. It's like 7 feet long, 3 feet wide. It's incredible, but it fits in your glove compartment. I've never seen anything like this. Sierra Madre, the genius creators of this emergency sleeping bag, made it small enough to fit in your pocket, your glove box, your junk drawer, your go bag, whatever. But it packs such an amazing punch. I sweat in it anytime I get into it. It's amazing. And I made sure to get a whole bundle of them for all my family to keep in their glove compartments. And now you can too. This week, the Patriots over at Sierra Madre have to clean out their warehouse before a new shipment arrives for the new year. So they're marking these puppies down over 59%. So you heard that right, 59%. Click on that link below and get one each for your whole family and save a bundle before the sale ends. Oh, and I almost forgot, the 10-pack, it ships free. So you're double your savings. So don't wait. I mean, these aren't available in any stores or big box retailers. And the only place you can get this warehouse clean out deal is if you click on that link below right now. Now, here's where this gets absolutely wild. Over the past week, mysterious explosions have erupted across Iran. A massive blast at a dairy factory in a mall sent a towering pillar of smoke into the sky. Now, the regime claimed it was a welding accident. But take a look at the footage for yourself. That's not what welding accidents look like. We're getting reports that multiple Islamic Revolutionary Guard bases have been destroyed. Government buildings have been stormed. Security forces are finding roadblocks everywhere they turn as protesters use guerrilla tactics to disrupt their movements. And while the response by the Iranian government has been fierce, the crowds aren't backing down. They know Trump is watching. They know what happened to Maduro. They know the regime is at the weakest point in its history. Again, the economic collapse that Iranians are facing, I mean, it's beyond catastrophic. They've literally got nothing to lose. Iran's currency lost 60% of value last year alone. Food prices jumped 72%. Medicine costs surged 50%. Inflation hit 50% officially. I mean, probably much higher in reality. People's life savings evaporated overnight. And did you hear about the regime's desperate response to all of this? They're offering protesters, I kid you not, the equivalent of $7 per month to go home. The regime is so broke that the best they can offer to try to assuage the protesters' concerns is $7 a month. But this uprising goes far beyond economics. Iran's infrastructure is collapsing. Rolling blackouts. Water reservoirs are at 10% capacity. We talked about that in yesterday's video. Iran is facing a literal unprecedented water crisis. The regime can't provide electricity, water, food, or jobs. In short, the social contract has shattered. And so in almost epic storybook-like fashion, we're seeing a kind of return of the king moment here, literally. The exiled crown prince, Reza Pahlavi, whose father was overthrown in 1979, declared that the regime has reached the end of its road and is calling 2026 the definitive year of change. There are tons of videos showing protesters chanting his name in the streets, united behind a vision of a renewed Iranian monarchy that will return them to their own pre-Islamic Persian golden age. And even the regime thinks it could happen. The latest reports are that Iran's 86-year-old supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has developed a contingency escape plan to flee Tehran from Moscow if nationwide protests overwhelm his security forces or trigger mass defections. 47 years of Islamic rule, 47 years of waiting. And now with a weakened regime, an emboldened population, and an American president willing to back them, the Iranian people are betting everything on this moment. Whether Trump intervenes militarily or not, one thing is clear. The Islamic Republic is facing an existential crisis. And for the first time since 1979, regime change in Iran doesn't seem like a fantasy. It seems inevitable.